Let's bring in our panel now. Labor's Josh Burns and Liberal MP Dave Sharma. Thanks, gentlemen, for your time. Josh, first to you. Start on the NBN. Labor's plan to expand full fibre 1.5 million premises. I spoke to Paul Fletcher earlier this hour. He says you can't be trusted because in 6 years of Labor, only 51,000 premises were connected at a cost of $6 billion.
Well, Paul is really tying a very long bow there. This government has bungled the NBN from day one. It's been embarrassing and it's been very, very costly to Australians and to Australian consumers. What we are going to do is continue on with the fact that the government has acknowledged that the fibre to the node technology, the copper wires, don't work as well as we need them to. We need to be making sure that Australians can access fibre all the way to the premises, like what the original plan of the NBN was designed for. And we're going to ensure that people across the country, especially in the outer suburbs and the regions, are going to have access to high quality, high speed internet. It's an important change for a crucial piece of infrastructure. Frankly, the government bungled this from day one, and Paul Fletcher's now doing handstands. Instead, he needs to move out the way and let a Labor government finish this important infrastructure.
Dave Sharma, it does look like Labor's approach is not too controversial. It's simply expanding on what the government's strategy is anyway at the moment.
Well, what Labor's done here is they're adopting the coalition's approach, which is, fibre to the premises based on demand rather than fibre to every premises, regardless of whether you want to do it or not. But, with full respect to Josh here, Paul Fletcher's right to make the point that in 6 years of Labor, there were 51,000 premises connected. Remember, this was a scheme that was designed on the back of a cocktail napkin on a RAF VIP flight jetting between one Australian capital city and another by Stephen Conroy and Kevin Rudd at the time. This was not a well thought out plan at the time, and we've spent our time in government fixing it up such that 8 million premises are now already connected to the NBN, 12 million are eligible to be connected, and we're rolling out further upgrades.
Dave, if you had your time again, though, the government would have rolled out fibre from the get-go, wouldn't they?
I think the plan we've got now, which is demand-driven, which means that the marginal cost of connection is lower than it would be and that relies upon the latest technology, is the right one. I mean, I think the proof is in the tasting, as they say, and I think the fact that more and more households are getting connected to the NBN at higher speeds and without a huge cost to the taxpayer and without demanding a one-size-fits-all approach to delivering high-speed internet has been shown to be the correct one.
Josh, you do concede, though, that that demand-driven approach is what the government has adopted. Labor has had a bit of a conversion on that.
KG, we are deep in the spin zone of Dave and his mates at the moment. There's two key problems with what Dave is saying. The first key problem is that what Dave's not saying is that the government had to reverse their decision to make fibre to the premises available to Australian households. So putting aside the demand-driven model, what the government admitted by making some houses available to the fibre to the premises is what their changes to the NBN, by scrapping the original design of the NBN, they have made it longer and more costly for Australian consumers. The other problem with the demand-driven model is that it's not available to all Australians. There are huge swathes in my electorate, in South Melbourne, in Albert Park, where you cannot choose to connect fibre to the premises. It's just not available. And what the Labor Party is going to do is fill those gaps so that Australian households, especially in regional towns and communities, and especially in the outer suburbs of our cities, have access to high-quality broadband, high-quality fibre to the premises, and not cut corners and not do backflips like what the Morrison government has done.